Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the NBA slate for Tuesday. Hope you guys had a good day yesterday. We have another nice medium-sized slate today. 6 games to get us through Tuesday. A couple of rematches from 2 nights ago with that Brooklyn-Toronto game and that Clippers-Houston game. So we'll have some of the same things to talk about, but their price tags have changed a little bit. Looking back at yesterday, was a good night. Once we got the Van Fleet news that he's unlikely to play. It was kind of the same deal as we had the last game because Nick Nurse said the same thing and then he decided to start him. But this time it was different. We got that news early and they said he was worse than usual, so I just assumed he was out. Post a new core here. Scotty Barnes was super low owned for some reason on DraftKings and he went absolutely bonkers. So we ended up posting over 300 on DraftKings and FanDuel put up over 344. So it was a good night. Needed that. Keep it going this week. So as always, hit the like button if you enjoy the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Really appreciate that. You can check out Prize Picks, code PROCESS for a $100 match. You can check out the Twitter for updates. Check out the website if you want to join us. So today, right now, it's a little bit tough to nail down a core because we're waiting on some big questionable pieces. Fred VanVleet is questionable. That would be another, obviously, go right back to what happened yesterday. Look at Scotty Barnes, look at Siakam a little bit, definitely Gary Trent, and Malachi Flynn would be the 4 best plays. And then also Kevin Porter is questionable. Both of these guys are going to be important factors today. I'm assuming that Van Fleet's out just because it's a back-to-back, and they said it was worse than it was Saturday, so I'm not sure they want to rush him back out there after just sitting out one game. And then Kevin Porter, I'm not sure because he's always up in the air, his status, it seems like, but hopefully he plays. If he doesn't, we know to go to Dennis Schroeder. We know to go to Dennis Schroeder definitely can look to. Jalen Green slightly, but it's a little bit tough to get to him on DraftKings. I'd rather go to like Jayshawn Tate, who's been playing really well, and you can even look like Eric Gordon. But the best plays right now, point guard, Luka Doncic. It is his birthday today. He's turning 23 in Los Angeles. Probably want to take it to this Lakers team that has just fallen off a cliff. Nobody can seem to do anything right for the team except for LeBron James at times. And then you can even tell that he's just frustrated just because nobody else is doing anything out there. I think Luka will take full advantage of that. Somehow they ended up winning against Golden State. They were down by 19 with like 10 minutes left, and they went on a 26-1 run, which is absolutely insane because they were playing in Golden State. Steph Curry was there. Luka basically took over that. I mean, he didn't even take over for most of that stretch. He was kind of on the bench, but that Dallas team took over late, and it is a great matchup going up against the Lakers. I'm going to go ahead and pay up for Luka Doncic today. Steph Curry would be second in terms of a pay up at point guard. There is no Klay Thompson, so he does look better today. Trae Young, 10K against Boston. A bit tougher to get to him. It's a tough matchup. He's averaged about like 43. They're probably going to have Marcus Smart on him, try to double team him at times. So it is a tough matchup. He's not my favorite pick. Reggie Jackson had a good game in the second quarter and on. He had a tough first quarter, but it's a great matchup against Houston. That price tag is still very expensive, though, at 82. So you're looking at least 45 to be really happy. If you play Reggie Jackson today, going in the mid-range here, definitely Dennis Schroeder would be a great play. If there's no Kevin Porter, it would be one of my favorite core plays. That game went just super low scoring. Last time, only 99 to 98. It had like a 220 plus, like close at 231 total on some of these sports books, and it went under 200. So that definitely hurt. If you played a lot of the players from this game, because they could have had much better games if the game did kind of go as expected. But Schroeder almost had a triple-double, 10 assists, shot the ball terribly, but if there's no Kevin Porter, definitely look to Dennis Schroeder today. Value range, you have like Kennard, Monk. Both guys can get hot from 3, but I don't even know what the Lakers are doing. They're still starting Austin Reeves again. Vogel knows absolutely nothing. You should be starting Malik Monk just to give them a spark next to Russell Westbrook and LeBron, somebody that can actually shoot the ball consistently at times. But I don't know. If he's not starting again, it'll be tough to prioritize him. You have Gary Payton at 42. Looks good just because there's no Klay Thompson. He's looking at least like 25 to 28 minutes. They still play a lot of guys, so none of these bench guys, none of these like secondary pieces are core plays on Golden State, I'd say, but they're very good plays. And then I'm going with Malachi Flynn just because I'm assuming that Van Fleet is not going to make his return on a back-to-back here after dealing with soreness in his knee. And Malachi Flynn stepped in really nicely. He would be another core play. 34 minutes, put up 36. Even if he doesn't put up that many, his price tag only went up by $100. Over at shooting guard, you have Jaylen Brown is your most expensive guy at 87. Not looking like I'm going to try to prioritize him. I'll be looking at Gary Trent's way at 64. Only took 10 shots. Yesterday was a Scotty Barnes show, but he did have 5 steals, which helped him at least have a respectable fantasy line. And only played 30 minutes because it was a blowout and they didn't have to play him much. Maybe they decided to keep some of these guys at less minutes just because it was a blowout, but also knowing that maybe Van Fleet won't be able to make his return tomorrow. That could be something. But I'm going with Gary Trent at shooting guard. I'm assuming that he's going to get a nice bump in usage and probably will take and hit more shots today. In this range, not too many other guys look that appealing here. Going in the, except for like Dennis Schroeder at 59, depending on the KPJ news. Value range, you have Gary Payne would be my favorite. Eric Gordon would be an option, depending on the news we get. And then you have like Amir Coffey would be an option here at 36. Over at small forward, you have LeBron James, 11-2. He's probably probable. Oh, he's questionable with soreness, so I don't even know if he's going to play. Hopefully he does play just because they're at home. I'm assuming he's going to suit up in front of his home crowd, but we'll have to wait and see. If LeBron doesn't play, then everything goes crazy. You're probably going to be looking at Russell Westbrook, but still, I don't know. Going with the mid-range here, you have Anthony Edwards, 74. It looks pretty solid. His price tag is affordable enough. He looks a lot better once we get to his price tag. Somehow he's under $6,700 on FanDuel, but still playable at that price tag. I like him more than Cade Cunningham. In the 6K range, I'm kind of looking at Andrew Wiggins and Scotty Barnes. Both guys look appealing. Wiggins gets a nice bump without Klay Thompson, just becomes the secondary option in terms of scoring the ball. He's going up against his former team, so he's going to want to take it to them a bit. And $6,200, super cheap. I did not know he was struggling with the free throw line that badly. Only 65%. But Wiggins, $6,200 going back home, or going back to his roots in Minnesota. I think that's going to be a good spot to go to him. And then the other guy will be right below him at 6,000. Scotty Barnes, coming off of a career game, 12 of 14, 16 rebounds, 28 points, did everything for them. Good matchup. Once again, same exact matchup. Assuming that even if Van Fleet plays, he still looks good without Anunoby. But right now, I love Scotty Barnes at that price tag. At power forward, you have Kuzma's up to 92. That's a bit expensive. I'd rather go to Siakam. Collins is doubtful, so nothing has changed. We've seen him now play the last couple of weeks. Not too much to like here in the 5K range, besides Morris Sr., but he can also be super erratic with his shooting, and that's basically all he's giving you. You have Boucher as a mid-range play, looks pretty good as a value pick. Same thing with like Vanderbilt at 45. And then all the way at the bottom, depending on the Bagley news, you could look to Kelly Olynyk, but he's priced up to almost $5,000 now. And the Bertans' new team, same kind of type of story, not getting a ton of playing time, and still been very erratic with his three-point shooting. At center, you have Cat. He's your only pay up above 10K. He's fine, but I'm not thinking I'm going to prioritize him. Going in the mid-range here would be something you can look to with like Zubats, coming off of a 7-block game or 6-block game. Same exact matchup here. Houston has a lot of guys that like to drive into the basket. So it could be another big game from Zubats, but maybe they make some adjustments from last game. But then you have, I like the price tag on Looney a lot at 45. Just a little bit, probably more minutes, just one less piece in the rotation for him. Probably getting at least like 25 or so minutes. Another guy that can get it done at the basket, can get you a double-double. And the matchup is good against Minnesota in terms of just needing a big guy out there at times. So he can't really go small here like they like to. So Looney at 45 would be a pretty good play. But I'm going with Dwight Howard again at 43. Good price tag. Only played 22 minutes with the blowout, but he probably would have only played like 25 or 26 or 27. But still good enough to pay off this $4,300 salary. His price tag did go up a little bit, but still gives you a double-double upside and still can get you some blocks and stuff like that. So as of right now, it's like 5 o'clock East Coast time. That's kind of the core I have. Depending on, I'm assuming obviously that Van Fleet is sitting, and we're still waiting on Kevin Porter news, but hopefully get some of that news early. That's it for DraftKings. Let's go over to FanDuel. All right, over on FanDuel, run through them a bit quickly here. Luka Doncic is way too cheap. Some of these price tags have just come way down on FanDuel, but Luka would be an obvious core play at $10,800. Other guy would be Steph Curry. Going further down here, 7K, if Reggie Jackson looks good. Westbrook at 66 is playable. And then you have Dennis Schroeder at 55, depending on Kevin Porter news. He also looks excellent. And then if you don't think that Van Fleet will play, like I don't, you have Malachi Flynn at 36. Over at shooting guard, Anthony Edwards is way too cheap at $6,600. Gary Trent, great play. Assuming that Van Fleet is out. Shooter also in the mix as well. We're going to have to wait on and see on a lot of these news. But I would go ahead and put in $3,600 Malachi Flynn for right now. Over at small forward, LeBron at 11K. Looks good on both sides. Looks better, easier to get to him on FanDuel with some of the value that we have. But Edwards at 66 would be a great option. And then you have Jayshawn Tate at 61. And then Wiggins at only 55. Those are my favorite picks to consider. I don't really see myself going too much cheaper than that besides like Eric Gordon potentially there. But I'm going to go ahead and put in Edwards. It's just really, really cheap. Over at power forward, LeBron looks excellent. Going with Siakam makes sense at 83. His price has come way down. On both sides, he's pretty affordable. Tate looks great if there's no Kevin Porter. But I'm going to go ahead and put in Scotty Barnes, who's also incredibly cheap at only $5,500. Not looking at like Olynyk too much. And then you have maybe LaMarcus Aldridge if Drummond isn't able to play today. And then at center, same type of deal. You're looking at Kadej, your only pay up. He's only 93, so it's easier to get to him. And then you have some of these guys in the mid-range, like Zubas looks good at 58. But I'm putting in Dwight Howard right now at 44. I'm just going to try to hope that he has a double-double today and get you some blocks. And the Lakers at least keep it close enough to where he's playing like 25 minutes. And that's it for the video. I'm sure we'll get some changes throughout the day, but I wanted to give you guys an early look. It's super early, but that's what I have. Thank you for watching. Best of luck tonight, and I will see you all next time.